This is a great way for those that are most passionate about your community to be able to showcase their passion for it. You're basically creating third-party endorsements, right? And as a marketer, a third-party endorsement is one of the strongest marketing tools you can have in your toolbox. But all different types of people are moving into your community. And so you need to reach all different types of people to support them as they're moving into your community. The more diverse of an audience you can have of really passionate people, the more successful your attraction efforts will be.
That's the voice of Christine Tarquinio, Vice President of Talent, Workforce, and Brand Strategies at Greater Louisville, Inc. Today, she tells us all about Louisville's City Champs, local volunteers who help new talent and potential residents get to know Louisville. I'm Amanda Ellis, and you're listening to Livability Inside America's Best Cities, a brand new podcast for chamber, economic development, and talent attraction professionals. We bring you insights from America's most promising places on how your community can be a better place to live, work, and play. To learn more about this podcast, visit livabilitymedia.com, where you can also sign up for Livability's monthly Let's Talk Talent Attraction newsletter. Now, let's jump in. Christine, so awesome to have you today on Livability Podcast to tell us about Live in Lou and your City Champs, a city concierge type program. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk about City Champs.
So would love to get an overview to start us off here. So what are the City Champs and how does the program work?
Well, City Champs are a collection of volunteers that are passionate about Greater Louisville. They come together for a training session and they learn how to talk about Louisville from a new resident perspective. So what does the school system look like? What do the neighborhoods look like? What types of amenities do we have here? And really just get a general education on all of the amazing things that there are to do here. But what's unique about this program is that each of them brings their own perspective and passion to the group. Every champ has a few areas that they're especially passionate about or are experts in, and they select those as the fields that people can reach out to them about. So I'm a city champ and I have 3 young children, and so one of my areas of expertise is getting kids enrolled in school. So every champ sort of brings their own uniqueness to the program.
And so typically they're going to be talking with people thinking about moving to your region, right?
Yes, but also people that have recently relocated, trailing spouses or partners of people that have relocated, people who are thinking about relocating.
So when people connect with the City Champs, I know that on your Live in Lou website, you have them all listed and there's a whole bunch. So I was very impressed with that. I mean, how many are there? It looked like a lot.
We have over 120 and we have one more training session in the fall.
That's amazing. So lots to pick from, something for everybody. So how do people become City Champs? Do they have to meet any criteria? Like what do they have to do?
Well, you have to be passionate about Louisville and you have to live here.
That would make sense.
Really, so we review everybody that applies one by one, but the people who apply are people that really love being here. You can go to our website, liveinlou.com, and then we ask a little bit of bio information so we can get to know people. They come to a training session. The sessions last a couple hours, and we bring in experts from arts organizations, sports organizations, the police, the schools, the Center for Neighborhoods, really just people to come and talk about some of the unique and amazing attributes that we have here. The only thing that we do ask is a commitment from all of the champs that they will not sell their services to new residents. So as you can imagine, we get a lot of realtors that are very interested in utilizing City Champs as a way to develop their client base, but we actually ask them to sign a piece of paper that says that they're here volunteering because they're passionate about the region, not because they're trying to pick up business.
That makes sense. So whenever people who are thinking about moving or have moved or trailing spouses or what have you, whenever they make contact with a champ, does that normally happen through the site that you have set up? Or does your team ever curate the relationships? Or how does that normally work?
every way you can think of. People are able to reach out to these champs directly through the website. Each champ sort of sets the platforms that they're comfortable communicating with. Some are social media, some are phone, some are email. But I also get employers who call me and say, "Oh, I'm wanting to relocate so and so, and his or her spouse, they're not certain about it. This is what they're interested in. Can you pick out a city champ for me that you can put us in touch with?" I've had moms call me and say, "My child is moving to Louisville. Can you help me?"
Oh my
So
goodness.
I'll ask a few questions and find a city champ that would be a good match for them. And then we also have new residents who use the City Champs program and have recruit somebody else to come here and will connect them with another city champ.
Well, and I love how you've got a breadth of communication platforms covered, like if people prefer to text or email or message on whatever social platform, love that. And also loved seeing what a diverse group that you have. I mean, it was all ages, all interests, families, not families, all different types of things. So that was really neat to see.
That's very intentional. So Louisville is a certified welcoming city. And so we had a fairness laws on the books before New York City did. And so we really wanted to make sure that the city champs are representative of our community. And our community is a very diverse one.
So, how long have you had this program going for?
It seems like forever. But really, it started in 2017. We have an organization here called Leadership Louisville that does all sorts of leadership development and programming for the community. And in 2017, their Bingham Fellows class, which is a class that's comprised of leaders who volunteer to think about and solve a given community problem. In this case, it was improving town attraction efforts. And the one of the groups in this class came up with the idea of creating a warm welcome for new residents and dubbed it City Champs. But this is like a 10-month volunteer class, and they all have full-time jobs. And they were like, well, now what do we do? This is a really good idea. So they reached out to us over here at Greater Louisville Inc. We are the Chamber of Commerce, and they knew that we were beginning to build Live in Lou, which is our town attraction and retention initiative. So they came to us and said, all right, here's our idea. Now make it work. And so we collaborated with that group for about another year to figure out what's the training going to look like, how are we going to engage champs, and basically make the idea come to life. In our first training class were our friends, people who owed us. And we were like, come on, you got to try this and you got to poke holes in it and we want to make it strong. And now we have over 120 people.
So, what are some results that you've seen from this so far? Could be in terms of economic impact, actual moves to the city that you think might not have happened otherwise, or whatever your preferred measure is.
I mean, gosh, there's a million different instances. Our champs probably talk to hundreds of people each year. We've had some people that just make direct connections. I mean, we've just had so many examples. I can think of one family, they were really nervous about relocating with their young child. They'd never been here. They'd never even been to the East Coast. They didn't know what to do. And our city champs, we connected them with city champs to explain how to get the kids registered for school, talk about family-friendly things to do in family-friendly neighborhoods, and it really helped them to de-stress about the move because they felt like they had a soft landing when they got there.
That definitely makes it a lot easier always.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of population growth, we are growing. Per the last census, we gained about 30,000 people, and I think we're projected to grow like another 30 or 35,000 over the next several years. So I can't say that City Champs brought all of those people here, although,
But you can say they will be very busy
but
going
I can
forward.
say they will be very busy. And in fact, we recently created meetups. So every other month, we encourage all of the new residents that we know of and all of our city champs to get together and meet up. I recently learned that most adults have not made a new friend in 5 years. And
Oh,
that
that's so
is not,
sad.
I know it's so depressing, but if you're a new resident someplace, that's really daunting. And so every other month, we have meetups and we encourage our community members, our city champs, and new residents and their trailing spouses or partners to come out. In fact, we have one coming up and we've already got 100 people registered.
That is a sad stat about the no new friends in 5 years, but it's kind of true. I think a lot of us have experienced that as you get older, it just gets harder to connect with new people, and the older you get, the more commitments people have. Once you get out of college and like your mid 20s, it can be hard to build a new network.
Well, and if you're working and you have kids or you have family members that you're taking care of, and then you add in a pandemic,
Yeah,
you
that doesn't
know,
help.
it can be a little daunting.
Does that family that you mentioned, what was bringing them to town, a job or something else?
Yeah, the husband was being transferred and really didn't have, not that they didn't want to come here, but he was like, I don't know anything about it. I'm told that I have to be there. And so I don't know what to do. And he only had like 2 months or a month to get prepared. So
Have you worked with any local employers with bringing in new employees or giving them tools to talk about living in lieu from a recruitment standpoint?
yes, that's a great question. So I do that every day. I work with employers to discuss and assist with any talent attraction or retention even that they have. GLI is the Metro Chamber of Commerce, so we serve the business community. We go in, we listen to employers' needs when it comes to talent attraction, but we also provide insight and even assistance. One of the benefits of relocating your business to Greater Louisville is that our team will work with you to build out customized talent attraction advertising campaigns so we can help you build the workforce that you need. But through Live in Lieu, we also provide employers all of the resources that they need to sell Greater Louisville, including city champs, who often will work with employers when they have a candidate they would like to relocate.
So is that just a membership benefit? Like I imagine your larger employers, typically those are invested in their local chamber at a pretty high level, or do they, like, is it an add-on?
No, the city champs and the talent attraction assistants, with the exception of the advertising campaigns, because they do have to pay for the media buy.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Everything is included in their investment. And I mean, I've gone so far as to when we've had an employer that has had a really high value candidate who was sort of on the fence, I've taken them on a driving tour around town. I've asked them about their kids and showed them the parks and, taken them to restaurants that they like and really given them just a full picture of how amazing it is here. And of
That's a
course, we sealed
great,
the deal.
yeah, that's a great targeted, tangible benefit for those employers and also gives you a great way to just, really have really good relationships with them in a way that's beneficial on all sides. That's awesome.
It's definitely not something that you can do for 30,000 people because it's just me. But
But yeah, but when you can and when you are able to do it, I mean, that's a really special thing. And I feel like it definitely would make an impression, thinking about if that were me and the community taking the time to invest that in one person, it really says something about it.
yeah, we've done that like for journalists and everything before, but I found that even when my friends came to visit, I would just be taking them all over the city trying to show them everything and convince them to move here. And I was like, well, I could just do that with other people too.
Yeah, it's a similar idea, but just a little bit different audience. So I know the city champs are just one prong of the Live in Lieu initiative. So can you talk a little more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Live and Lieu is our talent attraction and retention initiative. We launched in late 2016 with the idea to really showcase all the amazing things to do in Greater Louisville. I have been fortunate in my life to travel and live all over the world, but I always find myself coming back to Louisville because the people here are like none other. It's just an incredibly welcoming community. And as you can see from the engagement that we have with the city champs, the people who live here really, really love it. And Live in Lieu has given us the opportunity to showcase our region. When I started about 4.5 years ago, we had a couple hundred social media followers, and last month we crossed over to 50,000.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been incredible growth, but it just shows you that the bulk of those people that are engaging with us are people who live here or who come back to visit us all the time. So there's a lot of love for Louisville.
Yeah. What are some of the different amenities or special things about Louisville that you're usually touting as far as why people would want to come?
How much time do we have?
Yeah.
50,000 feet, to sum it up, we have it all and there's no traffic to do it.
Yeah. It's always a great selling point.
We have an incredible food scene. I mentioned earlier that we're a certified welcoming city, and we have a very large immigrant population. So we have every single kind of food that you can imagine, from farm to table to Ethiopian to Vietnamese to everything. And it really just creates this beautiful melting pot here. If you like bourbon, we have that too. In fact, we have more barrels of bourbon than we do people.
Is that a real stat or
It
are
is,
you
it really
making a joke?
is.
Okay.
Although, to be fair, in the pandemic, we may have depleted some of the bourbon, so I don't know.
For hand sanitizer or dealing with the pandemic in other ways or both?
Oh, definitely not hand sanitizer.
Well, I know we had a group in Chattanooga that did some like a distillery that diverted some of their
Yeah, we
alcohol
have
supply
Moonshine
for
U
yeah.
here did that as well. And I went and got a bottle because I was like, when am I ever going to be able to get a bottle of hand sanitizer from a bourbon maker?
Yeah, you're like, this is probably my moment for that. That's
And we
awesome.
also really have a burgeoning and incredible craft beer scene. We're very big on local here, as I'm sure lots of other communities are, but we wear local like a badge of honor. We work very hard to support our independent businesses here. We have a ton of arts organizations. If you like the arts, we have everything. We have opera, ballet, orchestra, theater, youth organizations, museums. I mean, you could find something different to do in the arts 365 days a year. For me, I'm a sports person. So, football, basketball, soccer, horse racing. I mean, we do it all here. And we actually just got a national women's soccer team to come to Louisville called Racing Louisville FC. There's just a million things to do here. I could take up another hour talking about how great it is.
Definitely sounds like a little bit of everything and something for everyone, which kind of has been the theme of this conversation, I feel like, with especially with all of your city champs and how they also kind of have something for everyone. Would you recommend a program like this for other cities? I mean, it sounds like it's been really successful for you all and you've had really good engagement locally. So would you recommend it and any suggestions for other communities who might be thinking about doing something like this?
Absolutely. This is a great way for those that are most passionate about your community to be able to showcase their passion for it. You're basically creating third-party endorsements, right? And as a marketer, a third-party endorsement is one of the strongest marketing tools you can have in your toolbox. But all different types of people are moving into your community. And so you need to reach all different types of people to support them as they're moving into your community. The more diverse of an audience you can have of really passionate people, the more successful your attraction efforts will be. We did some research a few years back and surveyed about 900 people that had relocated to Louisville or who were thinking about relocating. And we asked them, if you relocated and left, why did that happen? They said because they didn't feel like they fit. They didn't feel like they fit in. And city champs are a great way to be able to help people feel like they fit in. But don't call it city champs because we're trademarking
Yeah.
it.
So one more logistics question about kind of how it works. So I know that with their profiles, I believe with their profiles on the Live and Lose site, it says how they are open to being contacted and just includes their contact info. So is that typically how the contact happens? Like they'll just get a message from however they've indicated that they're open.
Yeah, yep, for the most part. I mean, I do get calls from employers or from friends that are trying to relocate, another friend saying, I need someone specific. We had startup competition here last year, and the winners of it had to agree to relocate their startup here. And so the person running that organization came to me and said, I want to make sure that they're happy when they're here. I need 6 city champs that have, different interests like this. And in those instances, I'll make one-on-one connections, call up the champ, explain the situation, ask them for their engagement and assistance if they're available. We also give all of the champs the option to pause because life happens and sometimes you just can't dedicate as much time to volunteerism as you would like to. So we can pause them if we need to. But for the most part, the champs get contacted directly through how they've selected on the website.
It's also a great way for them to build more community. I mean, I know that we've really kept the focus on the people who are new to the area, but it's also good for the champs to meet new people and continue building their networks.
It absolutely is. I mean, when we get all of the champs and the new residents together, it's an electric environment. Everybody's so happy, happy to be around each other. Of course, a lot of that is everybody's happy to be back out around people.
Yeah.
But, the people that decide to become city champs are people who want to connect with other people. They want to make sure that you're happy here. And so that already sort of self-qualifies what that experience is going to be like.
How long have you been based in Louisville? Sounds like you might have roots there.
Yep, I'm from Louisville, but I have traveled all over the world, but I always come back. And now I'm stuck here because I have a bunch of kids.
Yeah, 3 little ones sounds like that probably keeps you quite busy. So as we head towards wrapping up here, my final question for our guests is a fun question, and that is, what is one bucket list item that anyone who visits your city should be sure to do?
Gosh. All right. It's got to be the Derby. You got to go to the Derby.
Good answer.
The Kentucky Derby is an experience that is like none other. Regrettably, it's a little bit expensive, but you just cannot imagine what it's like to see everybody turned out in their finest, spend a beautiful day at the racetrack, cash a few tickets, have a bourbon or two, possibly pass a celebrity, and really just have fun.
Ladies still wear all the fancy hats. Is that a real thing? I've never really
yes,
done anything
of course.
Derby related. So
Of course.
Do you have Derby hats?
Of course. I'm a proper Southern woman. Are you kidding me?
What does your favorite one look like?
So I tend to get very hot when I wear a hat. So I have fascinators mostly, but I love big, giant, obnoxious fascinators.
Well, when in Rome, right? Or when in Louisville, I should say.
You just have to be careful. You can't kiss on the cheek very well with them because you end up poking each other in the eye.
Yeah, you might want to watch out. That might not make for such a fun day. Well, thank you so much, Christine, for some really great insights. Anything else you'd like to add to our conversation about Louisville or the champs or anything else?
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't encourage everybody to come and visit us in Louisville, and you can see what it's like to live, work, and play here if you go to liveinlou.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Christine. Really enjoyed our conversation today.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to talk about Louisville and City Champs.
Thanks for listening to the Livability Podcast, where we take you inside America's best cities. At Livability, we highlight the unsung awesomeness of small and mid-sized cities across the country. We also partner with communities to reach their target companies and potential residents through digital content and print magazine programs. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow, rate, and review this show wherever you listen to podcasts. You can learn more about us at livabilitymedia.com. Have an idea for an upcoming episode? Email me at aellis@livability.com. Until next time, from Livability, I'm Amanda Ellis, sharing the stories of America's most promising places.